Welcome to Kumba Software DPAA tutorials. This tutorial is about updating simple certificates or certificates stored in their own file. That means certificates that are not part of a P12 PFX type file or P7V or encoded in any other way. It's just got to be a simple CER or CRT type file. It could be in PEM format. As you know, DataPower doesn't really care. So be sure to set your video playback to HD, and though some visual details of DPAA may have changed since this video was created, the functionality will be the same. So what I've done is I've got DPAA running. I've got a couple of appliances selected and a domain selected, and I've listed a number of certificates located within that domain. Now, we can see very quickly here there are a number of certificates that are expired, and we have some certificates that are getting close to expiration here, so we may want to pay attention to that as well. So we have the ability to update these certificates in a number of ways. So the first way that we want to see that we can update the certificates is I can select this pair of certificates here just to show you that we can do it on two appliances at a time. And what I can do is I can go to the hamburger menu and pop the menu down, or I can right mouse click and I can select replace with local certificate file. What this means is that someone has sent you a certificate file, you know it's the newest file, you're ready to update it, and so you select this, and it's going to give you the warning and say, hey, are you sure you want to replace this? So it's giving you a couple of chances to opt out. And when it'll open a screen and point you, you can navigate your file system. I happen to have it already pointing there. And let's say this is the new certificate that they have sent to us. So I'm going to take that certificate and I'm going to select open. And then what DPAA does is it uploads the certificate into the cert domain, into the domain, into the appliance, and it uploads it replacing this file, because that's what the option was, replace file with local cert. So we pulled it off of our file system, we uploaded it into here, and then it disabled and enabled the cryptographic object, because as you may know, if you don't do that, the certificate won't be updated. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to close this down, and I'm going to search this again, and what we're going to find is now this certificate is updated, and you can see we have 944 days now until it expires. Another way to update certificates is we can update certificates from a remote location. So for example, this Yahoo certs are getting a little bit aged here, so maybe it's time to go and update the yahoo.com cert. Now, this gives us the ability, in your case, it could be a back-end server. This is just an example that we have, but it could be a back-end server of some kind that we need to get it updated to. But in this case, it could be a cert like this, and we can even update publicly accessible certs that say your CA certs if they need to be updated. So again, I'm going to this time use the hamburger menu, and then I'm going to select replace with certificate at URL. And then what I can do is it pulls up this window here, and it automatically goes out and picks one of the SANs from from the certificate. It may not get this right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to type in just www in this place here, and then when I hit enter, notice it changed the other, and this is because we have this checkbox here. It's called synchronize changes. If I didn't have that turned on, when I changed this from www.yahoo.com, here it would not have changed that one there, and vice versa. However, the assumption that DPAA is making, and I think it's correct, is that when you change it on this one, and it's the exact same certificate name and in the same domain, the same appliance, it's saying, hey, if you're going to change it here, you probably need to change it there as well. We want the same URL. So now I can select next. And then what it does is it goes out there and it pulls that certificate from the URL. So you can now compare this side by side and say, okay, the new not before date and the new not after date, and where was the URL and this and that, what is the SAN, that just kind of gives you a sanity check to make sure, is this a certificate I think it's going to be? And then I can select finish. And then what DPAA does is, like it did before, it grabs the file into a temporary location, uploads it, replacing the file name I had selected in place, and disabling and re-enabling the certificate objects. Now, I think that may be the same cert. Let's check and see if 25 changes, then it was updated somehow, but I don't think it's going to change now. That certificate had not expired. The real value of that is when it coming up toward expiration. Sometimes when you're within that 30-day mark, it will update. If I had made this video just a few days later, maybe this would have updated, but it didn't. But you see how it's done. Now, we can do this in another location as well. Under Find Objects, if I have my certificates listed here, I had listed them before the video, and you can see, well, there's some things going on here. But at the end of the day, I can update certificates here in the same way. So in other words, if I want to update this certificate from one of a local file, I can right mouse click, or again, the hamburger menu over here. And this menu is a little bit different because this is an object management screen. So we're only really looking at the certificate objects. We're not looking at the certificates in their native form. So the menu is a little different. So I have certificate actions, update certificate from an onboard file, an external file, or a URL. So there's a little bit of a difference here, because what happens is I'm saying, hey, I need to update. I may have already uploaded the file and it's got a different file name, which is fine. Update certificate from an external file. That means somebody sent you that file, or we also have the ability to update it from a URL. I'm going to select update certificate from external file, just as the example here. And what's going to happen is we get a window, and again, this experience is a little bit different. We get a window where we have to go look up the certificate and that sort of thing. So what happens is we have to go hunt down that certificate so that we can do the update how we want to, or from the certificate file that was sent to us. So in this particular case, what I've got is I've got a means by which I organize them, and I happen to have that certificate located here. I'm going to select open. And when we do this, this is a little bit more powerful, because when we update a certificate in this window, we have the ability to update a certificate using a password or not, or what have you. It's got the DP file name, the upload directory, so it's slightly different than the other screen. Gives you a little bit more power. And then I can select finish. And then it puts everything together for me. And I may have to expressly toggle the admin state of this certificate here so I can make some kind of change to it in order for it to show that it's updated. So I'm going to toggle the admin state on and off. It was already disabled. Sorry, I did that backwards. I should have. I should have paid attention that it was already disabled. So here we go. We fixed that. We've enabled it. And now actually from this screen, we can actually open selected certificates to compare them side by side to see if they have in fact been updated from the certificate objects that we expect them to. And we can see there may be some slight differences here, but at the end of the day, we see that we have certificates that are updated and available, and we can see show certificate details, which enables us to actually see the in-depth certificate details of the two different certificates. And you can see that now I had the certificates that are exactly the same, because one was expired and I needed to update it to match the other one. So that's it for this video. There are many other videos out there for certificate management and other management features of DPAA. So go out to www.kumbasoft.com. Go to the features and tutorials page there, and there are probably 100 tutorial videos. This is a massively large tool to match the massively large number of features that are in IBM DataPower. You can also subscribe to this channel and subscribe to our videos so you can get updates for the latest videos and features that we update the product to. So thanks for watching, and have a nice day.